Good morning, everybody. Thank you for coming to class. We are going to play with the inner thighs, hips, inner thighs. If you were in last class, Sunday's class, we played with hips and played with a couple of different poses for the hips. So today we're just going to continue that, but a whole bit differently, working with the inner thighs a little bit more. It's an area of the body that, for better or for worse, does not get a lot of work. So we can have super tight outside of the legs and not so strong inner thighs and create some imbalances in the body. So that's where we're going to go. And now that I'm all comfortable and seated, we're going to come down to the floor. So sorry about that. So come on down. And maybe have a strap nearby. Oh, always feels good. I don't know why. Maybe leave the knees bent and your feet on the floor. And just find yourself kind of comfortable here on the floor. Maybe check the hips and notice if one is skewing higher than the other. Maybe see if you can level that out just a little bit and feel your feet on the floor, feel your toes on the floor. Start to draw the fronts of the shoulders down toward the floor, but don't force it. Just try to make them heavier, as if someone were having a gentle hand on each shoulder. And pause here for a moment. Let the hands maybe rest on the low belly. Start to feel the breath as you draw it in. And as you exhale it out. And again, drawing the breath in. And letting it go. Good. Few more right here. Starting to get yourself centered on the mat, centered within your body so that you know you're ready for practice. Good. One more right here. And then let the arms come overhead. Always, be mindful of the shoulders. If they don't easily go overhead, elbows are soft, palms are face up, then go more to cactus arms and then straighten both legs down toward the mat. And relax for a moment here. Just let the legs do what they're going to do. Let the torso do what it's going to do. And just notice again, right, as we draw arms overhead, legs straight, how the body starts to arch a little bit, how it changes where you're landing on your mat, and just feel that. Take a couple nice deep breaths here, really expand through the ribs. Notice how the body starts to stretch out, straighten out. Hopefully. And then bring all the toes so that they're pointing up toward the ceiling. In other words, engage your legs and then engage the glutes and just squeeze. For me, as I squeeze the glutes, the backs of my legs kind of come off the floor a little bit. I'm digging my heels down and then release. Let the legs fall out to the sides if that's what they do for you. And then bring them back to center, squeeze the lower body. Exhale, let it go. One more right here. Give it a good squeeze. Everybody start to engage hips, glutes. And exhale, let go. And then bring those legs back to that center line. Toes are pointing up. Bring the left knee to chest. Wrap your arms around or underneath that knee. Take your right hand and smooth out your right thigh. Just smooth it down as if you were taking some wrinkles out of your pants. And feel the grounding of the left leg. Notice maybe the tilt of the pelvis. And just start to softly bend the left knee in and away from the chest. It's really small here. It's just a few inches one way or the other. Keeping the right thigh toward the floor. Good. The next time you press the left knee away from you, hold on to that knee with your hand. Push way, way, way away from there. And then take the hand underneath the thigh, both hands behind your thigh, straighten the left leg up to the ceiling. If you need your strap here instead of your hands, right? Wrap that around your left foot. Draw the shoulders down to the floor, engage the lower belly, press through the right leg. Big stretch for the hamstrings, maybe point flex a couple times. And then draw the knee to chest again. Take your left hand to the left knee and just let it drop down. My foot's resting on my right thigh. Here's your first spot, right? Where we're just going to be gentle here. There's a lot of weight here, a lot of gravity weight. So just let the knee hang. If that doesn't feel good at all, grab one of your blocks and place it under the thigh so it has some more support under the left thigh. So just pause here. Notice again the hips. See if you can keep them from skewing one way or the other. Flex your right foot, engage your right leg, squeeze your right glute. Imagine you're standing on the floor, you're in a mountain pose, but we're starting to move into a hip opener. Maybe take the arms overhead, thumbs touch the floor. Breathe. Good, release that left knee, bring it in toward chest, straighten that leg down toward the floor, feel both legs, squeeze the glutes, and release, let go, draw your right knee to your chest. So once again, left hand to left thigh, I'm just gonna smooth out that thigh. I'm gonna see if I can draw it a little bit closer toward the floor. And a lot of that will depend on your hip flexors, right? If your hip flexors, the front of the thigh, are tight, like psoas and quadriceps a bit, that thigh is gonna be lifted a little more off the floor. So we're just trying to open those up a little bit. And then move the right knee in and out. Super gentle here, it's not going far. Yep, I'm just rocking and rolling around that pelvis a little bit. Couple more. Use your breath. And then draw the right knee to chest, take the hand underneath, straighten that leg, let your other hand join that. Draw the left thigh down as the right leg goes up. It might not go all the way straight, and that's okay too. It's early in class. Maybe point flex a little bit. Start to wake this body up, even though it's already after 10:30. That's it. And then hold the leg, hit that nice stretch. Remember, you can use the strap there. Bend the knee, turn the knee out to the side, let your foot rest on the left thigh. Make sure it's not at the knee. It should be above the knee from a pivot standpoint. Maybe level out the hips. Think about that. Imagine that you are in mountain pose or you're in a standing balance pose. Notice, right? Keep everything active. Maybe the arms go overhead, the thumbs touch the floor, the fingers pointing toward the side wall. Deep breath. Just notice. Good. And release. Draw the right knee to chest. Straighten that leg all the way down, engage both legs and engage the glutes, the hips, and let it go. Bend both knees, draw both knees to chest. You've got one hand on both knees. Take the knees out to the side as if you were going to do Baddha Konasana. My feet are not touching. Take the hands behind the knees, straighten them up. Now you're in a wide leg pose here, supine pose. Draw the legs together, Bend the knees, push the knees out to the sides, straighten the legs, bring them back in. Good. Just rotating through the hips here, push out, straighten out, nice and wide, squeeze them in. Good. 2 more here. Moving through some of the muscles of the hips. Just play here. Where's the extension? And the next time the knees are bent, pause. I want you to straighten the legs up to the ceiling. We're changing directions. Go out to the sides, bend the knees out and squeeze them in. Good. A few more of these. We're doing 5 of each. So squeezing in, straightening up, go wide, bend the knees back, squeeze in. Got 2 left. And last one. The knees are back to the center. I want you to push both knees out to the sides. Reach down and grab maybe ankles if you can. The soles of the feet come together. So variation here of supine butterfly or supine Baddha Konasana. Opening up those thighs, everybody. Opening up the inner thighs. Just thinking about this. And release. Knees come back together. The feet come back to the floor. So again, you may want a strap for this. I think most everybody that is in class today, at least, I'm okay with, they can do this without strap. You're going to bring the right knee to chest, and you're just going to try to squeeze it to the outside armpit, and then straighten it out. Squeeze it up and in, and straight. Good. You can always grab the hind, by the way, and straight. Good. The next time you bend the right leg, I want you to see if you can either grab your toe or grab your shin, okay? Ankle, shin, anywhere. So a little bit of happy baby. You're going to straighten it out. When you bring it in, grab your big toe. Maybe that foot heads up toward the ceiling. With the other foot bent, this should be pretty easy for everybody, right? So you just straighten it out toward the end of your mat, squeeze it in, grab your big toe, see if that foot will point toward the ceiling, and release. This last time I want you to hold. So happy baby, either we're grabbing the big toe, this is half happy baby, by the way. You're grabbing the big toe, or you're grabbing the outside of the right foot. The knee heads down toward that outer shoulder. 1, you're here, you're just hanging out. Maybe you rock side to side. 2, the left leg is going to straighten toward the floor. Your left hand is going to smooth out that thigh a little bit. Go easy here. There's no pressing, no forcing, no pulling. You're just letting the hips open up a little. Rock a little bit. Breathe, breathe. Good. Take the leg back to center. Bend your left foot. Put it back on the floor. Straighten the right leg. Release it. Straighten the left leg. Squeeze everything to center. And let go. Bend both knees. Both feet to the floor. Same thing other side. So first you're just going to draw the left knee in and straighten it out. You're going to draw it up and straight. Good. 2 more. Last one. Good. The next time that knee comes in, see if you can grab the big toe or the low ankle or low shin, straighten it and release. Good. Just a few more of these. One side, again, often different than the other. It's really strange after all these years of yoga that I still have one side that plays a little bit different than the other side, right? Habit patterns. Good. All right. Next one we're holding. Bring the leg in. You're either grabbing the big toe, the shin, the outer foot. You're drawing that foot as if it were going to step on the ceiling. The knee tucks in toward the side body. 1, you're right here. This is a really nice place to play with happy baby with the other leg bent. I like this a lot for the hips, especially early in the morning. Or you can straighten the right leg, smooth it out down toward the floor, rock side to side or hold. That's it. Little bit more, just waking up the hips. Bring it back to center, bend the right foot, let that foot come back to the floor, straighten the left leg, straighten the right leg, squeeze everything back to the center, release, let go. We're almost done here. Grab one of your blocks, place it between your thighs. I have it on the middle setting for me. Give that block a good squeeze, lift the hips a couple of inches off the floor, just a little bit. We're not doing bridge pose here. I'm trying to activate the hips, activate the inner thighs. Good, breathe. So you're gonna tap your hips back to the floor, sacrum to the floor, and you're gonna lift and squeeze. Release and drop, lift and squeeze, couple more. Nice exercise here for the hips, for the glutes. Breathe, one more. And release, take the block out. We're almost done with the floor work. Feet are to the floor. Lift the hips a few inches off the floor. Plant your upper arms. So plant those upper arms into the ground. The fingertips can reach for the ceiling. And I want you to march in place. Check the hips here. This is important. As we're marching, you're going to sway a little side to side, but try not to drop hips, like drop them toward the floor. So breathe, keep marching, keep marching. Yes, indeed. Here we go. All right, press into a small bridge. Hold your pose, lengthen your tailbone, pubic bone to belly button draws in, but the shins reach forward. Find your breath. And lower down. Ooh, yeah. Good. Let's take those knees to chest, rock side to side. And then roll over to one side, press all the way up, come all the way to table pose. You have your blanket. If you do, go ahead and take it where the knees are going to go, because we're going to be here just for a little bit. Your blocks can go to the front of your mat. Starting table pose, I'm going to take the top shirt off. Warm up quickly. I don't know. Who knows? Anyway, that cool down quickly too. All right, so table pose. I want you to press the the right leg back, tone in through the belly, lift, and engage that glute again. And then small pulses, just small. Don't go into the lower back. This is all glutes, everybody. Breathe. Why is this important, right? We want all the muscles surrounding those hips to be strong. And then hold, turn the toes out to the side and pulse again, just for maybe 10. I'm not even counting, I'm just pulsing until I feel that muscle getting a little bit fatigued. And lower that down. Switch to the other side. Press the left leg. Remember to tone in through the belly here, so we're not going into low back. Toes are pointing toward the floor and pulse. By the way, pay attention to what you're doing with the upper body, right? We're not sagging. We're not dumping into our outer corners of our hands. You can go to soft knuckles. All right, pause, turn the toes out and pulse some more. Oh yeah, so if you're not feeling this, pulse some more. If you are feeling this and you can pulse a little longer, go ahead. It's good work, everybody. And release. All right, go back to the right side. By the way, take some time to shake out those poor little wrists. Again, you can come to those soft fists if that doesn't hurt your knuckles, so that you can give the wrists a little bit of a break. I want you to bend the knee, sorry about that. Take it out to the side, flex your foot. It's kind of, they used to call this the hydrant pose in gym classes. Drop down to the knee, lift back up, just for 5, but I want them to be slow. So lift, feel the glute work, and 4, and 5. Good. Now I want you to lift and turn the knee. So if you were to drop it, that foot would come behind your left leg in kind of like a weird figure 4. and then lift and lower. Don't overlift. Look for the glute engagement. Look for your glute muscles to tone. Don't lift so high that you dump into your lower back. One more, squeeze, lower. And this time I want you to squeeze, lift, and hold. Your foot is flexed, your knee is out to the side. You're not overlifting that hip. You are just working the outer glute. And lower, release, maybe straighten it out. Maybe come off those wrists a little bit. You can do this on elbows. I know that's a late cue, but it's just a little bit harder to control the low back, I think. But try that if your wrists are really chatty, okay? Tone in through the belly. Here we go, going out to the side. 1 and 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then take it out, but then turn it out so that you're going to drop behind. Flex your foot, lift, and 2, squeeze, feel it, go slow. 3, 4, 5, and then lift and hold. And breathe, and just play with the ankle a little bit, right? Where can you go with that knee out to the side to squeeze that glute without feeling funky in the low back? I know, breathe everybody. And lower down, good. Shake it out. We're gonna come to our elbows. We're almost done here. I say that, right? We're almost done here. Come on down to your elbows. Soft interlace of the fingers. Your elbows are shoulders width apart. Press back through one leg. Press back through the other leg, plank pose. You can drop the knees here, but otherwise press through the forearms. Keep the shoulders open. Legs, glutes engaged. 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, don't drop the hips, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now drop those knees, holy moly. And either puppy stretch or child's pose. Big deep breath. Good. All right. Release that. You're going to come to a seat. I know, right? Such a chill, relaxed yoga class. We're on the floor, we're on our backs, we're on our seats. So easy. Shake it out. Let's straighten those front legs. You can sit up on blanket or not. Dandasana pose. Fired up, bring it into center. Hands come down to your sides. It's all perspective, right? It's all perspective. What's easy, what's not easy, what's easier. Breathe. If you want, arms come up, hold the beach ball gently between those hands. Fire up the legs, press through the big toe mounds. Breathe. And release. Nice job, everybody. Have your strap near you. You're going to take a mirror here since I'm facing forward. Bend your right leg and then straighten it. Good. Bend it again. Hold it in. Your foot's to the floor. Watch the knee. If you need to have that foot out further so that the knee's not so compressed, go ahead and do that. Wrap your hands around the front of the knee. I'm moving forward so I can move away from the back wall. And I want you to curl back, curl back, curl back. Hold on to the knee to stretch the back of the shoulders. And then inhale and press up. Now, if this hurts your little tailbone, which it may, sit on a blanket here. Good, squeeze in. It's kind of a weird seated cat-cow. And squeeze in. Good, one more. Stretch back. And squeeze in. And then take that same leg and turn it out to the side, Janu Sirsasana, move the flesh out of the sit bones, your left leg straight ahead, straight ahead. Remember all the cues, right? Block under knee, if that makes sense for you. Strap around the foot, if you would like that strap. Don't have to, but if that helps keep that torso nice and tall, I love the strap. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, swan dive forward just a little bit, and then let the hands come down to the floor. Pull the shoulders back, isometrically pull the fingertips back, and notice this pose, right? Woo. Hamstrings, right, on this leg. Inner thigh stretching some on the externally rotated right leg. And again, maybe a block is under that leg. If this hurts knee or ankle, you move the foot forward. Breathe. Now, as I'm playing with Janu, on one side it's easier than the other for me. I'm thinking about my torso moving forward, right? I'm not thinking about my head moving forward. I'm thinking about the torso moving forward as I deepen that anterior tilt of the pelvis. Not everybody's pelvises tilt forward so easily. So if you feel rounding in this low back, I want you to back up a little bit, because what are we doing? We're doing a hamstring stretch. We're not doing a back rounding stretch, okay? Just my 2 cents. Big deep breath, everybody. And then take it up. Bend your right leg. Grab your foot if you can. If not, you're grabbing that shin again or your strap and taking the leg up. Once that leg is up, take the other arm up, press down through the bent knee. Breathe, and you can take that leg out to the side. That's it. You can even grab your big toe. Again, you can grab above the ankle. It's all, this is all kind of, not do what you want, but lots of places to grab that leg and still get into the pose. Good. Bring it back forward. Slowly release it down. Pick that knee up, straighten it out. Dandasana pose, nice and strong, everybody. Reach the arms up. So you may notice that as we do each side, I'm coming back to the center and engaging each time. That's what I want you to do, okay? All right, so from Dandasana, you're gonna switch sides, bend your left leg, take it out to the side, Janu Sirsasana. Breathe, remember the block under the knee, if that makes sense. The right leg straight out from your hip. Your hips are pretty even, strap if you want. Inhale, reach up, soften. Exhale, it's a swan dive. Why is it a swan dive? Because I want the chest to move forward, not the chin, not the head. And then release the hands, drag the fingers back as isometrically, pull the shoulders back. Find your breath. That's it. Just breathe, everybody, right? How does it feel on this side? What's it doing on this side? As you draw forward, as you feel this pose. Oh, I realized, I knew I forgot something on that side. I'll come back to it. Breathe. Notice. Right, even as my torso goes forward, I'm pulling this leg back into the hip socket. And then come on up, bend the knee, grab toe, grab all the toes, whatever makes sense to you, lift that leg. As you lift this leg, this one's got a ground. Take the other arm up, optional. Or you got it on the floor for support. Take the leg out if you can, squeeze in through the low belly. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Take it back to center. Slowly lower it down. Lift that knee up. Hold on here because I forgot to do the little cat cow on this side. Wrap your knuckles around, your fingers around the knee and roll back. And come on up. Good, 2 more. Roll back, watch that little tailbone. And up, good, 1 more. And up, oh, that feels good. Straighten both legs, flex both feet, hands down, Dandasana, staff pose, everybody. And release, shake it out. Good, so again, if you're on blanket, that's perfectly fine. If your feet have a little slippiness to it, that's really good. You can have the hands behind if you need to. If not, you keep the hands off the floor. I want you to bend both knees, place them both out to the sides, squeeze them up and bring them straight. Good, just a few. Out, open, up and out. Last one here, out, up and straight. Go wide with the legs, squeeze them up, bring them up and straighten. I know, slide them out. Squeeze them up, bring the knees in and straighten. 1 more. Out, pull them up, bring them in the center and straight. Dandasana. 1 more time. Breathe, everybody. Want a little bit more fun? Lift 1 leg. I know how hard this is. Lower that down. See, I won't even hold it too long. Lift the other leg. Good engagement. And lower down. Lift tall. Exhale, let go. Bend your right leg, turn that foot out to the side, seated figure 4. I love figure 4 in every version. I like it when we're laying down, seated, even standing, which we are going to play with. So lift tall, bend the knee, and rock side to side. Now, how much this knee is bent, again, is up to your body. It might be out here more. Your knee, your foot might be lower than the knee. It's okay. We play where we are, everyone. So I want you to look at this seated pose and look at the right bent knee and think about Firelog pose. So Firelog pose, you're stacking one shin on top of the other. So here's the shape of the first leg, right? That's what it is. So if we slide that leg over and out, over and out, we're just getting a sense of where that leg is. If you're comfortable straightening the left leg and letting it rest on the floor, you can just hold that right leg with your hand, right? 1 hand to the foot, 1 hand to the knee, and play with your range of motion here for Firelog pose. And breathe. And then take the leg, that knee back toward your kind of your shoulder again. See if you can grab a hold of the foot or the big toe. Lift up really tall. 1, this left hand is behind you. 2, it's forward. And we're playing with a pose called archer pose. Now, bottom leg, rock solid, right? So you have to lean back a little, but not a lot. You're drawing this leg back as you reach the chest forward. It's kind of like a seated half happy baby. And release. Woo, shake it out. Oh, you can bend, you can straighten, you can rub. Everything there allowed. All right, other side. Bend your left leg. Come into Janusirsasana. Move the flesh out of the sit bones. Engage that long leg, flex the foot, block underneath. Certainly appropriate. I'm starting to think we've done this side already. Shoot, I think we did. No, I can't remember what we just did. Straighten the leg. Let me think about this for a second. I know maybe one of you is gonna like click in and go, Mary, you did this. I can't remember. All right, so we're just gonna move on. That's so funny. Breathe, everybody. Dandasana, or sorry, Janusirsasana. Roll the shoulders back. Breathe. Seated figure 4. I knew it would click in. I need my second cup of tea. All right, thank goodness you all love me. So seated figure 4, let's bring it up. Let's start to rock it side to side. Woo, that hasn't happened in a while. Rock it out, shake it out. Think about on this side, right? That same fire log-ish pose. If you were thinking of it halfway, where the shin is coming out from, or the thigh comes out from the hip, the shin comes straight across. And breathe. And then maybe you slide it around that knee a little bit, right? Trying to get some range of motion. If you feel comfortable straightening the right leg, holding on to foot and knee, and just rocking it side to side. Oh, big deep breath. One of my friends said she was going to see if she could find every blooper and put it on a reel for me. Oh, breathe, everyone. Yep, just shaking it out and noticing. And then bring it back more towards center. You can grab the big toe. You can grab the outside of the foot. You're taking the knee toward the shoulder and just giving it a little bit of a pull back. Be gentle here. Maybe your other hand is on the floor. Maybe it's on your thigh. Maybe it's reaching out as you move into archer pose, something we don't do very often. Big deep breath. You got this. And release it, straighten it out, let it go. Maybe a little Dandasana action, bringing everything back to center. Last one here, bend both of your knees, reach through. You're either going to grab both ankles or both big toes. Take one leg off, both legs off. You can sit here in this very bizarre seated kind of a Baddha Konasana, or you can take the legs out. Ooh, breathe, everybody. Little bit of balance work here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring them back in. Let them go. Little Baddha Konasana. Slide those knees in. Whew. And let's come back to table pose. A lot of floor work today. But there's a lot going on, right? In these thighs, in these quads, and in the inner thighs. All right, so back to table pose, and let's finally come to a downward facing dog, bending one knee and then the other. Let's check that upper body, right? Make sure we're not sacrificing stability there while we're playing with the legs. Good, up on tippy toes. And down toward heels, up on tippy toes, and back toward the heels. The heels don't have to touch. One more, up to tippy toes, and back toward the heels, tone in through the belly. I want you to lift the left leg up toward the ceiling. Try to level the hips out. Try to keep the shoulders squared. And then bend the left knee, turn the left knee out to the side. What are we doing here? We're doing the same sort of thing we did when we were in table pose, engaging that upper thigh, engaging that upper glute or that outer glute muscle as we open up the hip. Find your breath here. You can come down to knees if that's better. And then draw the knee down toward the floor. Release the foot back to the floor. Let's come to plank pose. Knees down option. Breathe. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come back to down dog. Let's do the other side. All is optional and possible if you do table pose first, right? Instead of down dog. So lift the right leg, square the hips. Find your breath. Bend the right knee, turn the knee out to the side, squeeze your butt. Try to keep equal weight on the hands. What we tend to do here is overlift the knee and lose that right side hand a little bit. Breathe. You got this, everybody. And then lower that knee and lower the foot. Come to plank. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower your knees. Come on back, a little bit of a puppy stretch or child's pose, just to take the weight off those hands and wrists for a moment. Big deep breath. All right, back up we go. Spread the fingers. Come to down dog. Listen up, this one's a little bit tricky. You're gonna take your left leg and place it above your right knee, as if you were doing a seated figure 4, right? And then you're gonna bend the knee toward the floor and see if you can tap. And then press back up. Just 3 of these. Lower tap. And lift up. 1 more. If this is too much, you're doing both knees tapping. And lift. Take the leg up. Bend, open up the knee. Here we are again, engaging the glute, opening up that inner thigh. Release knee, release foot. Lower the knees. Child's pose, hero pose, uppy stretch. Shake out those hands. Right? We are gonna stay functionally strong with our yoga. We're gonna use our muscles. We're gonna use the shoulders, the arms, the legs, the hips, the glutes, right? And we're gonna do it with a smile on our face. All right, here we go. Let's do the other side and then we're done with this section. Down dog. Take the right foot, place it above the left knee. There's not pressure here. You could lift off of that easily. Okay, so here we are. 1, you stay here. 2, you're in table pose doing the same thing. 3, you're gonna tap down and lift up. Easy, easy. Just 2 more. Tap and lift. Final tap and lift. I know that's tricky. Release the leg, take it up to the ceiling. Bend the knee, turn the knee up toward the ceiling. Find your breath. Release that leg, take it to the floor, both feet wide. Walk those hands back. Hallelujah. Breathe. Make sure the hands are touching something, whether it's floor or shins. Breathe. Nice forward fold here. Bend both knees, hands to knees. Come on up. Shake it out. Ooh, yeah. Yeah. All right, feet are a little bit wider. Again, just watch for my knee, folks, right? So what I notice for me is if I do thoughtful squats, my knees often feel better. But it's important that if you're squatting, you're not pulling those knees forward like that, right? When you squat, I want you to bring your behind back so that you can always see your toes. Always, always, always. So hands to heart. And then feel your feet. Glutes are slightly engaged. And I want you to bend into your squat. If you can, touch your knees. If you can't, don't worry about it. And then push into your feet to stand, squeeze your glutes. Here we go. And 2, if this hurts, try a few different things. 1, go wider with your feet. 2, for some of you, you're gonna turn the toes out a little bit more. Breathe. For some, maybe a little more of a pigeon toe where the big toes come in just slightly. See where your knees might be happy. And they might be happier just not squatting so deep, okay? Push into the feet. I want you to push from the feet. We got 3 left. 3, 2, yep. And 1, stand all the way up, shake it out. Come back to mountain pose. Shift into one leg, press the other one out. I just want the toes pointing forward. And breathe. You got it, balance work, hand to a wall, certainly okay. And then slide it in, but try to keep the foot off the floor, lift. Oh yeah, 3, 2 more, 4, and 5. Shake it out. Whew. Back to center, back to table pose, or sorry. I need more caffeine. Shift into your left leg. I switched from coffee to tea, and so I'm still, there's my excuse, but I like it. All right, shift into your other leg and just see if you can balance, toes point forward. Find your still-ish spot. Chest stays lifted. Here we go for 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Good. Just roll one knee and roll the other. Take those legs wide on your mat. Squeeze. Now you might want your blocks in front of you. I don't think so, but you may, right? If your hammies are super tight, you might want the blocks there. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, squeeze the inner thighs as you come down to the floor, fingertips to the floor, and just start to kind of shake out that back, those hips, right? Maybe walk the hands forward, draw the shoulders back, squeeze the upper inner thighs. Now, if I could draw a line from the outer hip bone to the outer ankle, they're in the same plane. In other words, my hips are not forward of my ankles and they're not back. They're right in line with the ankles. Big deep breath. Turn the toes out to the sides a little bit, and then just bend one knee, stretch the inner thigh of the other leg, and then bend the other. Easy, 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 just explore. You should feel this in the inner thighs, not in the knee. For my knee folks. Breathe. Couple more. Good, last one, both directions. Come to center, don't go over wide. Press the knees out to the sides. Hands to knees, come on up. Lots of length in the tailbone, lots of length through the chest. Inhale the arms up. Bend the elbows, goddess pose. Ooh, yeah. Now, press those thighs out and breathe. Once again, I can see my toes. I can see most of my feet. So if your knees are shooting past those toes, try to sit back like you're sitting in a chair, even if you're up taller, okay? And then everybody stand up, 5-pointed star, squeeze. Exhale, release. Heel toe in. We're getting there, everyone. We have some balance work here, so maybe come to a wall, okay? So that we have just a fingertip somewhere if we need it. So we did figure 4, and I want to give 2 options, because if figure 4, if your knee is just super unhappy with figure 4, try Janu, or Lordy, try tree pose, right? Instead, anywhere up or down the inner thigh. And that will serve the same purpose without that extra turn of the knee. So stand tall, find mountain pose. And breathe. And then shift into one leg, and either you're going to go to tree pose, or you're going to take the ankle to the upper above your knee. Okay, make sure it's not on the knee. So it's got to be above, could be below or above. Hands to heart. Flex your foot and engage the heck out of that standing leg. Breathe. Now, 1, you're here. This is a great balance pose. 2, you're going to start to bend the knee and come into a seated standing figure four. Breathe. You got it. Some of you are gonna lower all the way, hands to the floor. Woo, feel that stretch. Straighten the standing leg. Bend the standing leg. Think about moving from your chest. The hands release. Yeah, come on up, straighten the leg. Holy moly. And release it, shake it out. Switching sides. Here we go. So standing leg, you remember, right? You're doing tree or you're doing this weird standing figure four. Before you do anything else, try to find your balance, engage the standing legs, hip, your hands stay at the heart. And then you decide, is it going to work on this side? To play with sitting down in this pose a little bit. Starting to move into a stretch of that hip. If you feel plenty of stretch, stay here. Still good, I want you to go deeper. Reach for the floor or to your blocks if I had cued that. Woo! Big deep breath, everyone. Straighten the standing leg, that's another variation. Bend the standing leg. Think about the chest lifting away from the floor. Lift, 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 lift. Straighten the standing leg. And release it, shake it out. Whew. Go wide on your mat, squeeze the inner thighs. Come on down, nice forward fold, wide leg forward fold, just stretch. Press up, heel toe in. Bend the knees, come on up. We got one more standing pose, this one just a little trickier. Want you to be mindful. Again, I might even turn sideways here and have a wall accessible. So you're standing in mountain pose. You can have a fingertip to a wall or a piece of furniture. Bend one knee and draw it up toward your chest. One, you're here. Okay. Two, you're going to reach in and either grab your big toe or your shin and come into, again, a weird archer pose, standing. Breathe as the knee, or a weird standing half happy baby, right? So very similar poses in my brain. And release. Whew. Shake it out. Switch sides. When you're ready. All you really want to do is lift the knee. Find your balance here. This might be plenty enough, right? This is tons of work for the hip, working with our balance. If you want, reach through for toe. Whew. See, a little wall help there. Breathe this side way tighter. Breathe, breathe, breathe. And release. Shake it out. If you have the ability while we're standing, place a finger on a wall, stretch that front quad by holding on to the foot or strap again. Switch to the other side, just stretching. It's a lot. Standing poses, balance poses, tons of work for the quadriceps. Release. All right, back to the front of your mat. Inhale, take it up. Exhale all the way down. Step back to down dog. Breathe, everyone. Plank pose. Come on, we got it. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower the knees. Come to a seat. Just come to a seat. Just relax. Relax, everybody. I tell the story of going to it was actually during my teacher training. They brought in a well-known yoga teacher who had written a book and all that stuff. And she was helping us to release emotion through holding yoga poses for a long time. And when we were almost done, she put us in child's pose with a blanket over us and walked around the room going, relax. And instead of me relaxing, I got the giggles. But she thought I was crying and not laughing, so she thought I was doing a very good job releasing my emotions. So every time I say relax, I think of relax. All right, so all right, now that you're all recovered, have your blocks nearby. We're gonna play with this idea of Hips-Firelog pose, which you can do in a bunch of different ways. So the modified version is instead of sitting in the easy pose, you're going to just draw the knees really close together and see if you feel a stretch. Okay, but I'll start with regular fire pose. And all I want you to do is take your right leg and drop that knee down toward the floor. You can, by the way, stay here, and it's sort of a half Hips-Firelog pose, for lack of better words. So the thigh externally rotates, right? There's space behind the knee. You can even put your hand behind that knee and create some space between the thigh or the hamstring and the calf muscle. And then when you look at that bottom leg, it's straight across the long edge of your mat, relatively speaking. Notice for me, there's a little space here. And I'm going to address that either now by putting a block there or after I get into more of the full pose. Make sure you have both of your blocks here. So the second half of Hips-Firelog is to take your top leg and see if you can stack one shin on top of the other, okay? The hardest thing for me here is my ankle bone. If you put your ankle bone in the muscle of your knee, it really doesn't feel good. So you'll notice what happens for most of us is the bottom knee will lower, but we've got space here on the top knee. It used to be that I could stack these babies, no problem. The hips have been tight. So I'm going to take a block between the top and the bottom knee and see if I can release that a little bit. If the bottom knee is also off the floor, I'm going to play with my blocks. Oh, that feels actually quite good. I've got one block under the bottom knee. I've put the second block up a little bit, and I'm still getting a really nice stretch along the top hip. Other options here, right, are no blocks, one leg stacked on top of the other, or opening the legs up more and more and more so that you have less of a turn on the knee. And I'm adjusting mine a little bit because this bottom knee isn't super happy for some reason. So I'm just going to adjust. I'm just going to find the spot. Flex the feet, sit really tall. Hips-Firelog pose. Another alternative does the same or does similar work here is cow face pose that we did last class, where you bring the knees one on top of the other. So that's an option. Third option, again, similar mechanism, is a seated figure four, which we've already done, which you can go right back into. Find your breath. Just notice, right? If you can tap into what your body is telling you and then make your yoga pose serve your body, not the other way around, right? We're going to let this work for us. Earlier, when I was doing some practice, this bottom knee was fine. And right now it was a little tweaky doing the full pose. So I got no ego in this. I want to take care of my body. So I'm inviting you to do the same thing. And you'll notice maybe that you start to shimmy down a little bit. You start to get a little bit more seated. If you have a hip that's lifted, you take the blanket under that hip and see if you can ground it. Deep breath. Just notice. And then lean back. Undo. Woo. Undo the other leg. Squeeze the legs in. Dandasana pose. And then release, other side. So this time, it'll be your left leg down low. Your top leg above that. Shins stack, one on top of the other here. This side much more forgiving. Breathe. I don't like a hanging thing here. I feel like that's a little too much pressure. So even if it feels okay, and if your knee's not down on the other leg, I would just cushion somewhere and see what happens. Oh yeah. So good stretch, but completely different on this side. This knee much happier on the top. Big deep breath. Firelog pose. We don't do a lot of these hip poses. We don't do as much now as I used to in my younger days. I think there's room for them. I think they can be overused. I'd rather go strength than stretch for my body. So, so that's just my personal opinion. But they're good to do, you know, and they're good to play with, and they're good to explore. All the poses are. Breathe. Exhale. Release. Just feel your hips settle, your body settle, everything settle toward the floor. Good. Lean back. Release the legs. Straighten them both out. Find your Dandasana. Nice flex of the foot. Breathe. If you're someplace where you will get chilled when we get back down to the floor, which is very soon, go ahead and put your sweater back on, or your shirt, or your socks. Good. And then we're going to come to our backs, but you're going to want at least one block. So straighten or bring the feet, keep them bent, bring the feet to the mat, and come on down. And again, feel your body, right? It's like, holy moly. Take the feet wide on your mat and lower both knees to one side. Just stretch. Big deep breath. Take it back to center and switch sides. Good. Come back to center. You're going to draw both knees toward your chest. Maybe stretch that low back some. Take the arms inside the legs. You're either going to grab shins outside of feet or big toes. Those all work. And come into full happy baby pose. Now it's kind of interesting in this pose, and I just want you to explore what happens. So if I don't do anything but hold my feet, I round in my low back a bit, my sacrum comes almost off the floor completely. And so I'm just going to press the sacrum back toward the floor, just a little bit to level out the pelvis, to even everything out, and then hold the pose. Big deep breath. Just let the knees be heavy. You're not pulling down, right? I could let go of my hands and the feet would stay where they are. So no pulling, pushing, forcing, just allowing. Just one more deep breath here. And exhale it out. Release your hands from your feet. Bring the knees together. Release your feet to the floor and grab your one block. I want you to take the block on the skinniest level, place it between your thighs, walk your feet in, and squeeze your block. Just squeeze, nothing else. It's on the skinniest section. If the block hurts, like, the flesh, move the block up or down a little bit. Just squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And then release it. Take the block to the second width, same location, and squeeze the block. Hold the squeeze. Relax your upper body completely. Don't hold your breath. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And release. Take the block to its widest level, but this time it goes between your knees, not the thighs, but the knees themselves. The feet are equal distance to the knees. And squeeze and release. Good. Squeeze in and release. 3 more. Squeeze in, release. 2 more. Squeeze, release. Last one. Squeeze in. Hold here just for a moment. And fully release. Everybody draw the knees to chest. Take that block out. Set your block aside. Good. Draw your knees to your chest. Roll the knees to one side. And then take that opposite arm, open it up to the opposite side. Open the chest. Relax your head, your neck, your jaw. Notice if the chin is overlifting for some reason. And breathe. Good, knees to center. Your feet come to the floor. Make sure the hips are either center or slightly off to the other side. Come back to a twist on the other side. Open up that chest, the arm of the opposite arm. Just breathe. Good, bring your knees back to center. Hips back to center, just one here. I want you to push into your feet, lift the hips, squeeze the glutes, bring your bridge up as high as it'll go for you, and then slowly release it back to the floor, straightening one leg and then the other leg, relaxing those legs, feeling your hips nice and centered, and come to Shavasana. Allow a soft smile to come on the face, just to feed your body those good endorphins and the message that what you accomplished today so far has been a really good day. Feel your body settle down. Let thoughts drift through. Feel your body getting softer and softer against the hardness of the floor. One more big, deep let go, everybody. And then those of you ready, let's start to wiggle the toes and the fingers. And as you bend the knees, draw those knees up to chest and linger there. Just draw them in, stretch it out. Allow yourself to curl up. Rock the knees side to side and then curl over to fetal pose. And then press up as you're ready. Draw your hands to your heart. Bow to your own inner wisdom, your own good compassion and heart. Let's move from that place today. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you, everybody.